You guys have been asking me to take a look at this kit from AVerMedia for quite a while. Now this here is going to be the AVerMedia Livestreaming Bundle, or technically the BO311 bundle. That includes a microphone, a capture card, and a webcam, so it pretty much includes everything that you need in order to stream in good quality regarding your audio and video with even a way of capturing game footage. But is it really worth it? Well, there's some mixed opinions about this kit, and I would actually like to give you all my 2 cents on the matter. So, is it honestly worth it? Let's go ahead and dive right in. Before we continue, don't forget that I have a Twitch channel that you can go ahead and follow me on for live microphone reviews and much more than that. But you're also going to find my Instagram and a link to the Tech Summit Discord in the description. So come join the community because it is a pretty cool one. We've also opened up a Patreon as of late where if you join, you'll be automatically entered to win one tech gadget every month in our exclusive giveaways. Details to that are going to be down below. Don't forget to check out the description for everything. Now let's get right into the video. So real quick, I just wanted to mention that this is still technically the BO311 bundle, but I had to buy the microphone separately from the capture card and webcam because at the time, the full bundle had sold out. But my understanding is that it is back in stock actually for around 250 bucks on Amazon. But I actually saved some money buying these separately, ironically, at the time, which ended up costing me about 220 bucks. I bring this up because I'll be unboxing these separately, but I know that these are the exact same items included in that bundle, so I am still going to be reviewing the exact same bundle. It's just that I kind of had to buy the stuff separately. Not really my fault though, so we'll be reviewing these from that perspective. Now let's start off with the microphone itself, and this here is going to be the AVerMedia AM310, which is a USB cardioid condenser microphone that has a pretty unique look to it. I've never really seen anything like it. However, this microphone is built really well, and it feels very sturdy, and as soon as you get your hands on it, you are definitely going to get that impression too. Now in the box, you will also find the stand for it, the USB Type B cable, and that's really about it when it comes to that, like besides the instructions and things like that. Once you've set this thing up, it looks pretty good, and so far for about 80 bucks, I'm certainly not complaining about this microphone's looks or its overall build. And then next up is the only bundle which does actually come together, and this is going to be for the capture card and the webcam. So inside of this beautiful box, you actually get 2 very important items for streaming, and one of them is obviously going to be the Livestreamer Mini capture card, which is AVerMedia's smallest and cheapest capture card as of now that has an HDMI in, HDMI out, and a micro USB port for power/data. It's really tiny, but it is capable of quite a bit. And now the webcam itself is actually pretty nice and tiny, I want to say. It is made out of plastic and does come with a USB cable already attached, and then it cannot be removed or replaced, which is a bit of a shame here, unfortunately. However, this is everything that comes in the box aside from some instructions in order to go along with these, of course, since you might need those, especially considering that these actually work with first-party software. So when it comes to the microphone, this is going to be a pretty cool one, and I doubt that most people would end up debating that. Again, the build is pretty good for the money, and I would rather this thing run on USB Type B, the mini USB, or micro USB. This is a much more reliable connector from my experience and, well, like just in my opinion. This microphone also has a volume knob at the very front for your microphone gain when you're in monitor mode and headphone gain when you're on PC mode. Through the switch that is going to be located all around the back, and you can go ahead and press it once in order to mute it completely, and you're going to see a red LED light around the front to indicate that the microphone is currently muted if you're not monitoring your audio at all. And now on the bottom, you actually have a headphone jack and a switch for toggling 2 different settings. So the headphone jack is here so that you can monitor the audio, and if you want to, of course, but the switch on the back actually makes you choose between monitoring your audio and listening to whatever audio is going through your PC. I absolutely despise that about this microphone. Like, I really hate that about it, since I like being able to do both. I don't like working with microphones that don't give me that ability, and I was not expecting that, from my microphone from AVerMedia to do that to me. If they were going to do this though, then they should have really included a switch for enabling both at the same time as well, if they're going to give you the options. But in my opinion, they didn't even need to go through all of that trouble. Yeah, but just about everything else about it is honestly pretty good, and I would actually like to run a sound test of this microphone versus another one that is comparable in price. So this is going to be the Blue Yeti Nano. And okay, so right now I'm going to be doing the audio test over here, or more so like the audio comparison between these different microphones here. So right now I've actually got the AVerMedia microphone right in front of me, and I'm actually speaking into it right now. So this is what you should be hearing, even though I am a little bit sick, and that might affect the way that my voice comes across here, so do forgive me for that. However, in front of me I do have the Blue Yeti Nano. However, this is what the AVerMedia microphone is going to sound like from a regular speaking distance like this, and this is essentially what you should expect out of this microphone in particular. Alright then, so right now we're going to be switching over to the Blue Yeti Nano, and the Blue Yeti Nano is going to be right here. I am speaking directly into it right now, and this is what this microphone is going to sound like. Again, like at about the same distance, I would say, between the AVerMedia and my face. The Blue Yeti Nano is going to have that exact same, or around so, in terms of distance here. Now this is a $100 microphone at the very least usually, and this is the kind of sound quality that you can expect out of this microphone instead. And after doing that test, I do think that the AVerMedia microphone does sound better in terms of raw, right out of the box sound quality. However, Blue has Blue Sherpa to let you really customize this microphone, and you actually get something that is very similar in terms of what it offers, and this is how you can really make the most out of this microphone, and that is going to be through AVerMedia's own software voice engine. And you actually have access to a full EQ, noise reduction that even works with NVIDIA's own software, or own support, I should say, which is honestly really cool, and it's definitely renowned for being so good. And you also get a noise gate, compression, sound effects, voice changers, and so much more. Like, you can really make this microphone your own, and that's very impressive. You don't get this amount of software support with many microphones around this price range, so it's just really good to see this on a microphone like that. And then let's move on to the webcam itself. This webcam is made out of plastic, and it is actually pretty lightweight, yes, but it does look pretty cool physically, but it is kind of cheap feeling. You even get a privacy screen with it, which is pretty cool in case you are afraid that someone is spying on you, or could. It is definitely pretty nice to have, like, for people like that. I do like the look and overall design of this webcam, but what really matters is just if it's good or not. And based off of the video that I've already captured by now, by default it's not so bad, but it kind of is a little terrible at the same time. I'll explain. On its own, it tries to compensate for light that isn't there, which is good. So if you don't have any lights besides your room lighting, then this will be a pretty sharp and decent looking webcam overall. But if you use any kind of direct light source like an Elgato key light such as I do, then everything is going to be overexposed and it will look awful. So you want to download Cam Engine, which is going to be AVerMedia's own software for adjusting the webcam here, and you have everything that you need here in order to get a much better image. And definitely get this in order to make the most out of your webcam, because on its own, I do think that it does look kind of terrible because of what it does to the lighting, and it really can make a pretty big difference. And after making some changes, this webcam honestly looks really good, and I'm genuinely impressed with it, since affordable webcams that are at least decent are really tough to come by. So I have to give it to them. With the right software, obviously it can be pretty good, but on its own, it's not so good. And now onto the capture card. So this capture card is comprised of plastic, and you already know what ports it's got by now. It's super tiny, but it's supposed to be pretty good. So let's see what kind of performance I can get on my PS5 with it. So you would hook this up to your screen and to your PS5 in this case. And you can monitor the performance through something like Streamlabs if you really want to, which will show you the exact same performance that you're coming across, though you might actually come across a little bit of lag that might not be in the game itself, which I thought to be kind of interesting. And as noted on other reviews as well, I can tell that the image is a little bit less saturated than what it would be on something like an Elgato capture card, for instance, but I do think that it looks really good already, and it definitely gets the job done. Performance is great too, not perfectly smooth, like there will be some stutters every now and then on the capture card versus on the game, with it retaining the frame rate and still recording at 60 frames per second, just as promised. It's only a 1080p capture card, but especially if you're streaming with it, then that's more than enough, to be honest. Honestly and surprisingly, most of my complaints actually come from using the microphone itself. I think that it sounds pretty good and it's built pretty well, but I'm not a fan of how the gain knob is managed, and also I really don't like that I can't monitor and listen to my computer sound at the same time. That's just ridiculous. Though it can also do better regarding plosives in that sense, but it already does a pretty decent job. It's just that if you're going to keep it closer to you, like, you might experience a little bit of plosives, but that is just more of a nitpick. Another big issue with it is that this microphone, you want to keep the gain at around 10% on Windows. Otherwise, this will be peaking a lot. So I'm also not a fan at all of the way that the gain is handled here. The webcam does feel a little bit cheap, and it's not the best looking webcam whatsoever, especially since it's got a narrow field of view, which is definitely a missed opportunity on AVerMedia's end, but it's still pretty good as a superior option to the C920, which I do think that this is a better webcam than that one if you use the software. Now, the capture card is straight up the best part about this bundle, since capture cards are pretty expensive nowadays, and seeing this one perform as well as it does is very promising. So in conclusion, I honestly think that this is a pretty cool kit, but I think it is a little bit expensive still. Sure, you're saving money, sort of, but from the prices that I've seen, you can buy everything separately and still save money, which kind of defeats the purpose of this bundle to begin with. But maybe I'm just looking at the wrong prices, which could very well be the case. I think that these are all great products, however, and if I were to put the value proposition into perspective, I would put the capture card as the best value, then the microphone, then the webcam, as a distant, and I mean very distant, third place for quality. You actually get quite a lot of customization out of the webcam, but it is a narrow field of view, which kind of kills the justification for that individual price, I would say. Plus, you have to keep that cam engine software open every time, or at the very least just go ahead and reopen it every time that you restart your computer, so it's not like it's going to save your settings, which is really annoying. And you also, like, I have had a lot of issues customizing it on Streamlabs. It only works with cam engine for some reason. Otherwise, again, you will get that very overexposed image that I showed earlier. And now the microphone sounds pretty good, and it's built really well, honestly, but I really don't like those other audio quirks about it that makes it just kind of unusable for someone like me. This is in spite of the infinite possibilities that you get with the voice engine app for getting even greater sound out of this microphone. This microphone is really, really good, and the software accompanying it is going to be fantastic and easy to use. That monitoring problem that I mentioned earlier is definitely going to be a deal breaker for someone like me, so I would not use this microphone personally. If you don't care about the audio monitoring aspect though, then I think that you will be very happy with this microphone, because aside from that, I think it's very good. But the capture card is a pretty good value on its own, and I would totally buy it again in the future if I needed to. So at around 250 bucks, I think that this is pretty good, or at least is a pretty decent value. Obviously, the biggest shortcoming is the webcam, but the microphone has a lot of great support, and the capture card works just as intended. But if you needed everything that's in this kit, I would still look out for discounts and things like that. Like, you can find this full kit on Amazon through my affiliate link, actually, where they're currently offering a coupon for $30 off. So like, if you can snag that, then you've got yourself a pretty good deal for a bundle like this, because instead of 250 bucks, you'd be paying 220 bucks, which I mean is a significant bit of savings, I would say. So yeah, you got a recommendation from me. And if you're interested in purchasing this bundle, then I'll be making sure to leave links to everything down in the description. And you can also use ABUNDA if you would rather just like go ahead and finance this instead of just paying for it outright. And then no worries there, because ABUNDA is going to have your back. Like, you can just go through very simple and easygoing financing where you do not need a credit card of your own whatsoever. So links to that down below, and it is going to be just a very helpful tool for you. And if you're looking for sales or anything like that, or just like discounts accounts across the web, then Lustre is going to be the way to go. As Lustre is going to scour everything for you and pretty much let you know like what the competition says and what people would rather get over certain products and other things like that, like with this bundle, for example. So you are going to be seeing that for sure. So links to that down below. And if you use any of my links, then I do get a small commission that does help out the channel quite a bit. So I would appreciate that quite a bit. And also, I would like to give a very special thanks to all of our patrons over here. So specifically to the Tech Summit Conquerors, which are going to be the tier 3 subscribers over here on Patreon. We've got Omar and Saad Arwazal. Thank you so much for all of your support. We very much appreciate it. And now I would like to move on to the rest of our patrons as well, though our tier 3s are going to be mentioned over here too. So thanks a lot again for all of your support. And this is super important. I would just like to give a very special thanks to all of our patrons, which are going to be listed right here on the screen. Again, a massive thanks to you all for supporting us to help us create the kind of content that we bring to you on a day-to-day basis. And thank you so much for supporting the Tech Summit podcast as well. And just remember that if you would like to be a part of this community too, and then do make sure to check out the links to our Patreon, where you don't only get bonus episodes of our podcast, but you also get automatically entered into one of our monthly giveaways of a tech product that we have reviewed that is of at least $50 in value or higher. So links to that down below. And I also just wanted to point out that this month we're going to be giving away a Stream Deck Mini. We're going to be doing these giveaways every single month, and eventually, hopefully, we can move on to doing them weekly instead. These are going to be some pretty cool ones. And like I said, like this month, it is going to be Stream Deck Mini. So do make sure to pledge onto the Patreon if you are interested in participating. And don't forget to follow me on the rest of my social media, like my Instagram, my Twitch, and I've also got obviously the Patreon itself, but you already know that. But with that said, this has been Francisco from Tech Summit. Thank you for watching, and I will be seeing you all later. Enjoy.